What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining us right here on Outside the Brand. It is Sunday, and you know what that means. It's a little bit of an extra for you guys tonight on your February 6th, 2022. I'm your host, Phil, and this is Outside the Brand. Guys, this is just a random episode on a Sunday for you guys. I did kind of want to get these stories out there. I'm joining my buddy Loff, as always. Kind of want to just bring these stories out to you guys, see what happens, see what you guys think of them, see what Loft thinks of them. And honestly, man, after everything that happened on Friday, heading into this weekend, heading into this brand new week of professional wrestling, we actually got some pretty major stories to talk about when it comes to AEW, WWE. There's a lot of things going on right now, especially coming from this weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited and worried at the same time. So,
yeah. All right. Okay, guys. So, WWE morale is at an all-time low, according to some WWE superstars. Tony Khan made a major announcement on Friday during Rampage about a forbidden door being busted open once again. And also, WWE might be leaning towards title for title at WrestleMania 38 this year. We got a ton of stories to talk about, guys, and tonight it's going to be a lot of fun. It's just a random episode on a Sunday, but I did want to bring you guys this special episode. All right, guys, before we get into everything that we have prepared for you guys here tonight, I want you guys first to go follow all of us on social media. All of the TikTok links are down in the description below, as you guys know, as always. I want you guys to follow me on all my social medias as well, Twitter and Instagram at @filmingmatt_. Make sure to continue to hit that subscribe button down below as we're on the road to 500 subscribers. Turn on the bell to all notifications, that way you never miss when we go live. And if you have missed any of the other episodes of OTB within the past week, all of them are down at the homepage of the channel for you guys. Monday Night Raw, Tuesday's Talk, Friday, AEW Dynamite, Friday Night SmackDown, and AEW Rampage are all there for you to enjoy. All those live streams are on the homepage of the channel. Make sure you guys go get your t-shirts and even a hoodie if you guys would like. All of the OTB merch can be found on bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. The store is officially live, so you guys can go get your OTB merch whenever you may want to. And more will be added to the store in the next few weeks. We'll let you guys know about new arrivals as they pop up on the site, so you guys can go to bonfire.com and get your exclusive Outside the Brand merchandise today, honestly. So it would be great if you guys can support the channel in that way. Also, finally, before we get into everything that we have to talk about tonight, I want to just thank you guys all for the love and support that you guys have shown OTB over the past couple of weeks. It's WrestleMania season, y'all, so it's going to be a very, very busy time for Outside the Brand, and honestly, we're here for it. We love doing this, so we want to thank you guys so much for all the growth that you guys have shown us in the past few weeks. Heading into WrestleMania season, we continue to grow every day, and we could not do this without all your help. All right, Lof, let's get right into everything. Man, we got a wrestler set to debut this Wednesday on Dynamite. Now, this is going to be a very, very big week, especially for AEW when it comes to the Forbidden Door. Tony Khan went on Busted Open Radio, and he plans to have more big signings and the Forbidden Door to be open once again. So this could be definitely some major news heading into AEW. Reports from Fightful.com says Tony Khan wants to keep making a splash in free agency. Over the past couple of months, AEW has signed the likes of Mercedes Martinez, Kyle O'Reilly, Danhausen, and Brody King. The non-compete clauses for Keithley, Mia Yim, Karrion Kross, Ember Moon, and more expired on February 2nd, making them free agents following their WWE releases. AEW President Tony Khan plans to remain active in that free agency market. Quote, just in the last several weeks, we've made some big decisions, and I plan to make some more big signings. None, not in the long-term future, I mean in the short-term future. I'll still be active in the free agent market, and the Forbidden Door shall be opening again very soon. I guarantee you will be making news out of tonight's show, and then we'll have some big news next week, too. End quote. He said that on Busted Open Radio. What do you think of that quote made by Tony Khan? And we know everything that's going to be happening on Wednesday night. Isaiah Cassidy going to be pretty much facing this up and coming superstar for AEW. He will sign a contract. What's going to happen here now? What's happening?
I'm hearing a lot of different things. I don't know where this is gonna go. I'm just, this is gonna be the first Dynamite that I watch all the way through in a few weeks. So I mean, if he disappoints me again, I'm not gonna be happy. I'm warning you now.
Yeah.
I believe it's gonna be big. I believe whatever happens. I've heard 4 huge names that I think would be insane.
We're gonna go over those 4 big names. We're gonna go over those 4 big.
Oh my god!
Because like you said, those are 4 pretty big names here in the world of professional wrestling, and especially when it comes to those free agency signings. But continuing on with the report, when asked about continuing to making signings and getting fans excited about new talent, Khan said, quote, I have to say, I really love listening to the wrestling fans. I love wrestling myself, and I'm a fan. I believe the fans give us the direction, and it's up to us to give great shows that people want to see. I don't want to be handed down on high. For me, anything we can sign anytime we can sign somebody that's going to make the fans excited to come in here and give the fans big matches, and they are excited to watch and bring new fans to AEW. It's a great opportunity for us. Sorry about that. I will continue to explore the free agent market, and the Forbidden Door will be opening again soon. So it's a pretty clear-cut answer. He loves professional wrestling. He loves listening to us fans. And at the end of the day, he just wants to produce great shows for us, which honestly is really refreshing. So I like what Tony Khan said there. It's just a very open-ended kind of answer to it. But hey, at the end of the day, he doesn't want to give his plans away, which I also enjoy because, I mean, heck, if you just give all your plans away, what's there to be really excited about?
I hear him talking. I just want to. I want to see some results. That's all.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we have those major names for you guys here. There are 4 big names I have written down, and I want to see if these are the 4 names that you pretty much alluded to. So who were your 4 names? Because I got my 4 right here.
So number 1 is Jeff Hardy.
Got it.
Which I am 50-50 on. I don't want it at all, but part of me wants to see him wrestling again. But then I'm like, no, not there. I don't know yet. Keithley,
got it,
which I think will be a great addition. It'll be kind of hard to juggle him as far as like where he stands in the hierarchy in the business, but we'll see what happens. Shane McMahon, which I think
I don't have that one, but
I don't see that happening at all, but I've heard
Me
a lot of
neither.
things about it, and I think that would be absolutely hilarious. So that would be something.
McMahon versus McMahon mentality
Yeah.
again.
And the last one is Triple H, which is another
Don't have
one
that
that
one
is
either.
probably less than the Shane McMahon one. So
That would be absolutely insane.
yeah.
I have two of those names. I had Keithley and I had Jeff Hardy. But two other names that I have are, and one of them is most likely not going to happen because he said that he wanted to return to professional wrestling once his wife gives birth. You
Oh
pretty
yeah.
much know where that one is, Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
Everybody thought he could have shown up during a beach break when it was in Cleveland, Ohio, where they're originally from, but that did not happen. That was actually Danhausen, of all places, and that was Johnny Gargano. But another one I also have, and I did show you that picture that he tweeted out just 4 minutes after Dynamite went off the air, Killer Cross. That can also be something that we all have to take into account. Now,
Yeah.
you said two amazing. You said two amazing names in Keithley and Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is the one that I'm most likely leaning towards because that's probably the most likely possibility. You're actually the one that brought up the whole Jeff Hardy situation a couple. Oh, actually, not. I think it was today when we were talking in the OTB chat about Jeff Hardy and this possible move.
That was yesterday.
Now, okay, so that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Matt has been teasing a ton about his character possibly changing, like he said in the group chat, and he's been mentioning Team Extreme a lot. And Matt Hardy has been he's been very clear that he is going to have possibly, when the time is right, his brother joining AEW. Now, we all know Hardy is a part of this whole Hardy family office thing, and we all know we pretty much just want that to go away at this point, because Butcher and Blade can be doing so much more. Private Party can be doing so much more, but having Jeff Hardy come back to professional wrestling and being with his brother Matt could be just a huge catalyst to make the HFO go away. Now, we all know that whole Jeff Hardy situation in WWE. He left a match during the match itself, like he left mid-match, and WWE thought, I mean, let's be real, WWE thought he was under the influence. So they made him take a drug test, thought the worst, and they fired him before even those drug test results even came back. Hardy knew that it was negative, and he requested the test results to be released. They were pretty much making the worst out of the situation. And once they finally released everything, it did turn out to be negative, like Hardy did pretty much mention. WWE begged him to return during the Royal Rumble and even pretty much bribed him to the point where he was saying, oh, yeah, we're going to induct you into the Hall of Fame if you want to come back. Hardy said no, as he should have, because you're not going to be bribing him. And now he's just waiting for stuff to be taking place. So there's that. Isaiah Cassidy is going to be in this Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier. Now, where does Isaiah Cassidy reside?
I don't know. Where is he?
Well, I was just pretty much saying that he's a part of the Hardy family office.
Oh.
It makes a lot of sense. Ladder match, him being a part of the Hardy family office, Hardys, ladders. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy's the most likely possibility here. And if it's true, that's great. But as far as we are aware of, considering we're wrestling fans and we don't really technically know the whole ins and outs about 90-day no compete clauses, the 90-day no compete clause for Jeff doesn't really technically expire until like maybe mid-March, like we experienced earlier or expressed earlier. So if somehow like lawyers got into this and they kind of got him out of the contract, we could see him this coming Wednesday. And it would just be a big possibility. I don't know, but Jeff Hardy's the most likely situation for me. Most likely scenario for me.
I'm really battling that because I know if I'm watching Dynamite and I see Jeff come out, I'm gonna freaking lose my mind. So I just it doesn't matter where he'll be at. But I just don't want him there still. It's just something that's fighting and I don't like it. And
You
I'll
just
be
don't want
lying.
the Hardy Boys back together?
No, I just don't want him in AEW.
Yeah, okay. It might just be a personal thing, I guess.
That's all it is. I just
Yeah.
don't want him in AEW, and I wish I could explain why, but I don't. It doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel the way it felt when he went to TNA. It doesn't feel the way it felt when he went to all the other wrestling promotions, with Ring of Honor and shit. It just something doesn't feel right. And I'm not gonna like it as much like after the pure shock runs off. 'Cause I'm not gonna act like I'm not gonna freak out if he comes on the screen. But it's just in the back of my head, I'm definitely like thinking about I really don't want him there at all.
I can respect that. Again, I mean, like when it comes to, and I'm not just speaking about you. I'm speaking about all Jeff Hardy fans here. I'm a Jeff Hardy fan here too. Trust me, I think we all are. Jeff Hardy. I don't want to say that he just didn't feel like himself in any other wrestling promotion besides WWE. But like when he was a part of TNA, we all know the whole TNA run that he had. It was absolutely amazing. Like you said, Laf, during our TNA talk on Tuesday, on one of the episodes of Tuesday talk, Jeff Hardy in Impact was another goddamn being. He felt you felt like he was world champion the majority of time he was there. You felt like he was in a prime position in Impact, like you said, the majority of the time he was there. So so maybe in AEW, with especially the roster that we got going on right now in AEW, it could kind of seem like he can get lost in the shuffle. But him being with his brother, it just makes perfect sense and it just feels right for me. Because at the end of the day, they want to wrestle together and they want to end their career on a high note. And if it's an AEW that they want to do it at, who are we to even say that we can stop them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just my doubts, man. It's just I don't know. It'll be cool. It'll be really cool. It'll definitely give me incentive to watch the show because if Jeff's on the card, then I'm definitely gonna watch the match. But I'm just fighting it still. I'm just fighting it
Now,
still.
if it's not Jeff Hardy and it's Keithley, how would you feel?
Great.
You like Keithley in AEW? You would like that?
My only issue with that is what's been my issue with AEW this whole time. It's just the top heavy issue because you have him there and he should be the first black AEW world champion.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, I feel
But
like you would.
you can't just skyrocket him to the top because you got people like Adam Cole who I feel like is up next for that role, and I don't want him to get moved to the side. I don't know who you put in front of the other. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I just don't want it. I just don't want the roster to be full of superstars and none of them feel like superstars because only one can have the belt. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Rough guess. How many people you think are in AEW right now? Male and female. Because I got technically the like the estimated amount in my head right now. Because I did kind of look it up today to talk about it.
350.
350 people?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like on the roster today. We have about 120.
120?
Yeah.
I thought there were way more than that.
No. Dude, we have about 120 people on this roster.
I thought there was so much more. Huh.
Which is still a lot. I mean, 120 people are still a lot.
I just thought it was like a lot more. Wow.
But like, yeah, it's not in the 300s. Trust me.
Wow.
So yeah, like in the 120s, give or take. But yeah, I mean, we still have a lot of people here, but at the end of the day, it, we have a bloated roster, but it's not as huge as it may seem. Like you said, people may think it's like in the 300s or whatever. It's not. It's in the hundreds. But yeah, just adding more fuel to the fire, it could explode at the end of the day. So we'll see. But trust me, whoever it is in AEW that's going to be debuting on Wednesday, it's going to be big news. It's going to be. There's no way Tony Khan could hype this up so much and fail. The last time we saw it, and I mentioned it to you actually, was Christian.
Yeah.
Now, Christian wasn't a total failure. Now, I mean, look at where he is now with the AEW Tag Team Champions. But he was hyping this up so much, and it was just Christian right after the Royal Rumble from 2020, I believe. So he's making this up so big. He's giving him Isaiah Cassidy in this Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier. We don't want it to fail. And at the end of the day, Tony Khan is going to sign whoever he wants to sign. But I want to let you guys know that whoever Tony signs, like a Leo Rush or these, he's giving them either. I don't know if you know this, lot, but there are actual like tier contracts here in AEW. Now I'll give you an example as to like what tiers technically mean here. There's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Tier 1 is like a per appearance type kind of deal. Okay. Tier 2 is like a pay per weekly type of thing. Okay. And then obviously tier 3 are like guys like Hangman Adam Page, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, like the big ticket kind of deals or whatever. That's like pretty much almost your like yearly type contracts. Those are like for the big dogs, big stars, something like that. Now, guys like a Leo Rush, for example, he was paid on a week-to-week basis. So he was a part of a tier 2 contract. Guys like let's say a Peter Avalon or whatever. I don't even know if you know him or not.
No.
He's a part of a tier 1 type contract, pay per appearance type of deal. And they're only like, when it comes to like tier 1 and tier 2 type contracts, from what I'm hearing, it's only like a 6 to 9 month deal at tops. He's not signing every single person that is a part of AEW to like a 5-year deal. Because if he did, then I don't even know if AEW would be here right now.
Yeah.
So they have these tier contracts for a reason. They give these guys the opportunity to at least wrestle, see if you're going to be a part of this family and see if you can like actually, fit here. But if they don't, they take it away. And if they do, they'll give you a portion of the contract to where you can wrestle whenever you want to, or if you want to sign a big deal, you can. But not everybody is getting like a 4 to 5 year contract.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean,
Because I feel like that's what people were saying. Like, people were saying, or people were thinking of. Like, oh yeah, when some other WWE guy came in, oh yeah, they got another 5-year deal on their plate. They really don't.
I mean, that's smart. That's smart to do. That's very smart to do, actually.
Because let's face it, if they had 120 people signed on a 5-year contract, depending on how big of a wrestler you are, or depending on how much you want, Tony Khan's not going to have that much money left to even be running these shows or to be booking these venues. So he's trying to be smart with his money, and yes, I'm pretty sure he knows he can't sign everybody. But with the free talent, the free agency talent that we got here in this market and in this pool, guys like Keithley, Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, Johnny Gargano, Jeff Hardy, for the love of God, if WWE actually does the right thing, and Mustafa Ali, just so many others. How could you not? How could you not at least try, But he knows he can't sign everybody, but at the end of the day, he's trying to be smart with it, and that's the biggest thing about it.
I mean, I feel like it's gonna take. It's a good chance to take them. I'm happy that they're not just signing them all to these long max contracts. So I mean, only time will tell. We'll see who is the next one to get signed and how they manage it, because I really just don't want them to become top heavy.
Now, guys of this caliber, knowing the whole tier list of AEW contracts, per to speak, would you give them a tier 3, or would you give them like a tier 1, tier 2 type deal?
Who, like Jeff?
Or like pretty much any of the 4 names that we talked about: Johnny, Killer, Jeff, and Keith, let's say.
That's the hard thing about it. I think all of them are tier 1 superstars. I think you can argue that Jeff is tier 2 just because he's not as fast as he used to be. But as far as him being a draw, he's tier 1. So
tier 1 is like a per match type basis. Tier 3 would be like the big guts kind of deal, like a Hangman, Cody, Young Bucks type thing.
Oh, okay. I understand now.
Tier 1 is like at the bottom of the barrel, like, hey, you have a match this week, and you can just go whenever.
No.
Tier 2 is like a week-to-week type thing, and Tier 3 is like you're on the show pretty much like forever type thing. Like a tier 3 type deal is like when you're going to get like a 3 to 5 year contract.
Yeah. I think everyone there is at least tier 2. There's no tier 1s in that list at all. At least tier 2. I think you can argue for a tier 3 for either one of them, but if they got a tier 2 or a tier 3 contract, that's great.
Okay. But yeah, guys, I mean, this Wednesday we're gonna find out who it is. So let's figure out what's gonna transpire this week on AEW Dynamite. It's gonna be very, very interesting, to say the least. Isaiah Cassidy will be facing the superstar in that Face of Revolution qualifying match. Whoever wins it gets inside the ladder match for a future TNT Championship shot whenever they see fit. So we'll see what happens there. Up next, guys, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, we all know, he returned during the Royal Rumble match as very early on. Way earlier than we were actually supposed to be getting Drew McIntyre, but we got him back. This is a report from Ringside News. Drew McIntyre came as a surprising return in last weekend's Royal Rumble match. McIntyre was heavily rumored to be entering in a feud with Roman Reigns before being sidelined with that neck injury. He was actually slated to face Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. The WWE Universe has been wondering what happened to those plans. McIntyre and Reigns are still planning to actually have a program with each other for the Universal Heavyweight Championship. The original plan was for them to actually be a match at the Royal Rumble, like I said earlier, but with Brock Lesnar and everything destroying everyone, it just honestly could not happen. They didn't fully develop a feud for Drew and Roman because of everything that happened with his neck. WWE is still planning to have the two face off later down the line. Dave Meltzer then discussed this feud on this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter. It won't be an immediate future, but Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns will cross paths once again. Quote, Drew McIntyre is very much in the plans for an opponent for Reigns at some point. Before the injury, they were in talks to have Reigns and McIntyre at the Rumble and in getting to Brock Lesnar. And now that he's back, perhaps that's in Saudi Arabia, although it would be better served at a later time this year. Now, obviously, we all know in Saudi Arabia it's not happening, as Drew McIntyre will be facing Madcap Moss. And Roman Reigns is facing Goldberg. So obviously that's not happening at this year's Saudi Arabia, but the original plan for the Rumble was for Lesnar to destroy everyone except give something to McIntyre before beating him. Lesnar was going to do what he wanted, but Lesnar put McIntyre over huge in 2020 in both angles and at Mania, and did not have an issue with that. They did face off basically to call attention to their 2020 program, but had a little time because the show had to be off the air at the 4-hour mark because of pay-per-view, which still exists, and some internal commitments, so they were very low on time, which is why the whole ending of the Royal Rumble match just kind of seemed abrupt, and how it may seem like a little match between Drew and Brock in that final stage of the Rumble, but yeah, he just ultimately threw Drew McIntyre out. Drew McIntyre was denied of a big moment to become champion during the COVID-19 pandemic. Most fans would love to see him back in the main event picture, in front of a live crowd again, in front of arenas and stadiums, and just once again being packed. We'll have to see how all things planned out, but in the upcoming future, we will see Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns face off. Now, this is pretty huge. I think when it all comes down to it, Drew McIntyre can definitely be something in the world title picture once again. Drew McIntyre has fallen off a lot since everything happened, but Roman and Drew, it could be a big match. So hopefully WWE can do this right and we can actually have a good story between Drew and Roman.
I'm so bored with it, honestly. I don't care about Drew and Roman in the program. I really don't. Unless they're putting Drew over, I don't care. I don't. I wish I was more enthusiastic about it because it honestly sounds like it'll be really cool, but I'm not. It just sounds like another person for Roman to win against, and that doesn't excite me at all. So
If you have to predict where it's going to happen, where do you think it could? Because you don't know what's happening at Mania, so we'll figure that out when it gets there. But after Mania, I would say.
I want to go against what look. I don't want Roman Reigns to hold the title until SummerSlam, but I feel like that's the only place you have a match between him and Drew McIntyre, because I don't want them to do it at nut-ass WrestleMania Backlash, because I just feel like that's a bigger match than WrestleMania Backlash.
Right, yeah.
And if they want to drop the title, you would do that at a SummerSlam. So, yeah, SummerSlam looks like the most obvious way to go. But
that's where I'd have it too.
They always, every time they have something good, they always tend to hot shot it. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was on Backlash, or if they moved another pay-per-view and just put like TLC or something. But
yeah. SummerSlam would most likely be the right kind of destination for this. You guys have known in previous episodes, I've been saying that Roman's Universal Championship reign would most likely end at this year's SummerSlam. You guys can go back to many episodes of Outside the Brand, and I said SummerSlam 2022 will be the part and will be the actual pay-per-view where Roman's championship reign will be over. Drew needs this. He needs this because at the end of the day, he has been booked like absolute crap. And he needs to get back to the Drew McIntyre we all saw back in the pandemic era. Because Drew McIntyre was great during the pandemic era. It was the fans that turned on his ass when he did not even deserve any of that.
The only reason why we turned on him is because they had him telling stories every week.
Well, yes, and I admit I was the one that called him Mr. Feeney and all that kind of jazz too. Yes, I did technically turn on him there, but Drew McIntyre can be so much more than what he's doing right now. Often we all know this.
Yeah, I mean, when he first came back to WWE after his run in Impact, I was like, he looked like completely different. I didn't see a lot of the Impact stuff. So my last image of Drew McIntyre was the Chosen One version of him. And I see this big bearded dude. I was like, who the hell is that? Oh, that's freaking Drew McIntyre. He's awesome. You know, he's doing the Claymore and shit now. And I mean, all they have to do, if you're gonna do this right, if you're gonna make him beat Roman at SummerSlam, bring back the Broken Dreams theme, please. Please, that would have been a great moment if they did that at Rumble. Because it would have been like that 5-second pause of like, who the hell is that? You know?
He wanted to actually bring Broken Dreams back when he was going to face Brock Lesnar at 36.
Oh,
before all the whole the whole pandemic thing happened, and we actually were going to be in Raymond James Stadium for that. He wanted to bring it back then, and WWE was actually going to allow him to do it until everything kind of happened.
Oh man, yeah, I think SummerSlam is the target. I think we should do it then.
SummerSlam, you bring Broken Dreams back. Yeah, I mean, you guys know me. I've always wanted an actual up and coming superstar to do it, to be the one to beat Roman, but we're not getting that. So if it's gonna have to be Drew, at least bring back Broken Dreams, have him win the championship, and then we'll see what happens from there. But SummerSlam 2022 has to be the right way. It has to be the way to do it for me. If you're going to get this championship off of Roman, you gotta do it at a big stage. Why do it at like a random Extreme Rules pay-per-view or a Backlash event? Like a D-level pay-per-view. Do it at like an A pay-per-view like SummerSlam and do it right.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. So there we go. We got that. Well, I'm pretty sure we're all aware of this now, especially with the way that he kind of was on being used on Friday Night SmackDown this past week. But Big E and his singles run is officially over. Now, we've known this for a little bit now, ever since he actually got moved over to Friday Night SmackDown. But when you heard of this story first breaking, what were your initial thoughts?
Disappointment, I guess. I just wish things were different as far as how they cherished him as champion, how they cherished him as a solo star, because honestly, they had a really good few moments when he was IC champion and WWE champion, but both championship runs I feel like were very forgettable due to just with the IC championship continuously putting him in terrible predicaments against Apollo Crews. And obviously with the WWE championship of just acting like his championship meant absolutely nothing. So I mean, I'm always happy to see a New Day because they are damn near my favorite stable in wrestling ever. But I just I just wish he got some kind of steam as champion, because that was the most infuriating thing, seeing Roman Reigns do great things with his belt and Big E do nothing with his belt because they just refuse to care about it. So
Universal Championship, WWE Championship.
disgusting.
And it should be the same level. Really should. But they were booking Big E like crap. They weren't giving him anything to do with the championship. He won the championship on a random episode of Raw, and that random ass cash-in. People thought it was for some reasons. People thought it was for some others. But at the end of the day, Big E won the championship, and WWE had no idea what to do with it. They had no idea what to do with him. And that's sad. And that's sad because it's the WWE Championship, a championship that's had like a 50-plus year lineage, and you have no idea what to do with it? That's sad.
It's ridiculous.
But Big E truly had a long and difficult road to the top of WWE. After a solid run on NXT, he was called up to the main roster, but was eventually lost in the shuffle. It seems Big E is no longer going to be considered as a single superstar moving forward. At the WWE Day 1 pay-per-view, Big E defended the WWE Championship against the likes of Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, and Brock Lesnar. To shock of many, Brock Lesnar pinned Big E after hitting an F5 and won the match, thereby becoming the new WWE champion. I wasn't really shocked once Bobby Lashley, was inserted into the match. As soon as Brock was in there, I'm like, oh no, that's it. That's it for Big E.
Here it comes.
Here comes Brock. Here comes Farmer. But many fans felt Big E's first championship reign as the WWE champion left much to be desired, as fans wanted a bigger program for him. Big E eventually admitted that he was not happy with his own WWE championship run. And if he's even admitting that, we got a problem. We got a problem if he's admitting that he didn't even like his championship run.
Yeah.
He was on, like, come on now. Big E was officially moved over to the Friday Night SmackDown roster last week. According to Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Big E's move to Friday Night SmackDown was a sign that he's no longer going to be in singles competition moving forward. Quote, Big E being moved to SmackDown permanently and put back with the New Day as a tag team looks to have ended his singles push. The plan on SmackDown was to put him in with the New Day, and he wasn't brought over specifically to be an opponent for Reigns, although obviously that could still happen simply due to the fact that Reigns constantly will need new opponents over the next year, and they have to, and obviously they have some depth issues when it comes to big stars, and he's out, and he's always on the top tier for much of 2021, so he has some singles main event credibility within him. Big E was originally supposed to be in the main event of WrestleMania 38 this year, but that obviously is no longer going to be the case. Fans of Big E who believe that he deserves another WWE Championship will surely be disappointed now that he's no longer being considered as a main event level type talent within the WWE. And it sucks. It sucks. Big E could be a definite superstar in that main event scene, and now they're not even going to just even try.
It's not good at all, man. Not good at all. I don't know.
I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat below. I mean, Big E's run as a single star is officially over. And it's sad. Hey, sorry, Saul. I didn't see your comment from before, but Ronda versus Becky apparently is going to happen at Survivor Series 2022. If it happens then, it happens then, man. I don't know. It could be a great match. Obviously, we all want to see a Becky versus Ronda type thing, but if it's going to happen at SummerSlam, if it's going to happen at Survivor Series, Ronda's going to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. Becky is going to be the Raw Women's Champion. Because they do the champion versus champion thing. So, who wins that at the end of the day? Who wins that?
Make it a no
They put themselves into the corner again. Sorry, Laf. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's making a no contest because
they're going to have to do it at 38, 39, right? Probably.
What is
making a no contest for 39?
I don't understand. What is the appeal of those two? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Because of the arm bars. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much where I see it at. Because of the arm bars.
Oh, brother. Oh,
Ronda's a former UFC star. Becky has some kind of background in that, I guess, and they want to see it. And they want it. Ronda and Becky both want it. If Becky and Ronda both want it, then why didn't Ronda just choose Becky at WrestleMania this year? Just get it over with.
What on earth? Oh my God. I guess I have nothing good to say about it, so I'm gonna say nothing at all.
So we don't mean to just totally take down the whole idea of Ronda versus Becky at Survivor Series, but if both of them are going to be champions and if both of them are going to be at Survivor Series and they're going to face off against each other, it's going to be a shit fest because both of them should win at the end of the day because they're champions, and no champion should lose at Survivor Series, but that's what happens now. And it's just a shitty situation. So I understand they both want it, but
oh my gosh, bro.
Yeah, it's just very, very strange. Two more stories before we get the hell out of here, guys. This is where we are going to be reading Fightful Select story about WWE wrestlers claiming morale is at an all-time low backstage. WWE's morale seems to be nearing a decades-long low, if not an all-time low in the locker room. Since this past week's heavily criticized WWE Royal Rumble pay-per-view event, Fightful has heard from a wealth of discouraged and disappointed WWE talent frustrated with the direction of the company, ranging from those who are rarely seen on television to constant main eventers. New names and veterans we've heard of decreasing morale within the locker room. The Royal Rumble was a major point of frustration, issues with how the match was being produced and the lack of most talent not being highlighted to maximize their presence was repeatedly noted. There were also issues with moments not being created and the lack of capitalizing on a lot of the angles that were built in the match itself. The longtime talent said that nothing matters outside of 4 people maybe, and maybes in quotes, as the vibe that they get. Over a half dozen main roster talent pointed the issues with continuity, and nobody else being designed to do anything. Several talent have felt like they're without a voice and are reduced to making pleas on social media. Who made a plea on social media just recently?
Wait. Oh, you talking about releasing?
Yes.
Ali.
There you go.
Yeah.
So they were also speaking about that situation. Another talent said that the time they've been there, they never felt less heard, and their attempts to speak with Vince McMahon got ignored, met with haste, or sometimes seemingly spitefully go the other way based on their recommendations. We've also heard of several contradictory decisions over the course of the number of months that they have reversed course to something that talent had already pitched and had denied prior. The wrestler stated, quote, "If you see a complaint with merit and in good faith have something that lacks sense, logic, or continuity, I almost guarantee we have complained too. It just never changes anything," end quote. Several of the talent we spoke to believe WWE eventually will sail, with one saying that the only way they can possibly rationalize some of the decision making. It should be noted that this report does not reflect the locker room as a whole. Only those who we spoke to are and their experiences. Wow.
That was a lot.
Yeah. Reports were saying like maybe months ago that Vince McMahon was actually, meeting with superstars and like we're actually, trying to do something with. And according to this report now, just weeks later, Vince McMahon is ignoring or meetings with haste, or even sometimes just not even doing anything at all, and even obviously doing the pleading on social media. It just goes to show you what a couple of weeks can be within this company. At some points, you can honestly have some of the best things of your career, and at other times, they just don't give a shit.
Man, this is a really bad situation. I can't imagine how bad it is back there. But this is what I've been trying to explain to people this whole time. And I kind of cut a huge freaking promo about it on our last podcast, but we're not saying these things because we're trying to hate. We're saying these things because it's true. And now people who work there are telling us
over a dozen people off.
You know, like, and they're back there.
12 might not seem a lot in the grand scheme of things, but that word can get around from those 12.
It's more than it should be. And that's just people who decide to say something. There could be a whole bunch of people who just don't want to say anything because they don't want their place in the company being moved or something like that. But that's the reality situation. They only care about a handful of superstars, and everyone else is just there getting a paycheck, but they want to be a part of the program too, you know, or a prominent part of it, not just sitting back to everyone else. Because I was watching like old Raw earlier today, and I was thinking, I was like, that whole show, it had superstars on it from like the beginning of the show to the end. Now when you watch Raw, they do their best stuff in the middle, in the beginning, and at the end. That period of time where it's like 8:30 after the first match, like that 8:30 to like 10 o'clock range is just whatever.
It's either filler matches that we've seen before, or it's just matches that we don't even care about, or segments we don't care about.
It sucks because like that wasn't the way it was before. It used to have like full main event type matches in the middle of the show. So it's just like, why has it changed so drastically? And you have people who are on the roster now who were there back in the 2008s and 2009. So it's like they know what it was before. Randy, I know Randy remembers when he was doing his stuff with freaking like Triple H and stuff like that. That stuff was happening on Raw. That stuff was literally happening on Raw, like a random episode of Raw. And now it's just like it's been destroyed to whatever the hell it is now. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, of course, things have improved as far as like the treatment of the women, and I could say some of the match placement has been a little bit better in current times, I guess. But it's just like it's really weird seeing how bad it's changed from the quote unquote glory days. You feel me? It's just really weird right now. And now everyone backstage, well, a lot of people backstage are showing us that we weren't wrong in that, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
A rivalry that I remember back in the early days of me watching professional wrestling in WWE, and this was like in the 2010s era. Remember, like, I don't know if you totally remember this or not, but you probably do because you've been watching it for pretty much as long as I have. The Dolph Ziggler Kofi Kingston Intercontinental Championship rivalry, or whatever, SmackDown, Raw, or whatever the heck the Intercontinental Championship was a part of at that time. Whenever Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler are in the ring together on Friday Night SmackDown or anything when it comes to the Intercontinental Championship, they were having banger matches every single time. Sure, they could have been short at times, but that was because SmackDown was taped during the time, what have you. But they had matches that were actually important, or they had matches that actually had, you know, the shows had structure to them. Now if we just saw a Kofi Kingston Dolph Ziggler thing on Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, what have you, wherever they are now, they'll just be like, oh, okay, let me go make some food real quick. And then when you come back, match is over.
They did that earlier this year. I don't know what time. I'm trying to remember what period of time that was, but Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler came on, or it was something to that equivalent. I feel like it was Kofi and Dolph. I can't remember. But I remember we were watching on stream, and I'm like, oh, this should be good because this reminded me of 2009. And it was just like, no, this is the match was terrible. It was like really quick. I can't remember, but something really bad happened with the match, and that was like one of the SmackDowns that I just like completely turned off because I just couldn't do it anymore, you know. And it's just like it hasn't really gotten better. It's pretty much gotten worse because SmackDown used to be the better show for a while, and now it's just Raw is better, and that's nuts because Raw is usually trash. And these last 2 weeks, Raw has been like not painful,
Yeah,
all the way. So
I'll say decent. They haven't been good, but
yeah,
they've been decent enough to where I'm not tired.
exactly. I hate that feeling of just being exhausted after Raw, and that's what they've done. But like the past 2 weeks, it's been like, okay, I actually want to continue my day now. At
Because
11
the
o'clock.
show actually kind of had some structure at that point in time, or well, when Raw was doing the whole qualifying matches getting to the chamber. Raw
Yeah,
had Raw had meaning. Raw actually had a structure because during the entire night we were trying to figure out who was going to be in the chamber.
yeah,
And that was a good Raw because we had a structure. We knew what the heck was going to happen on the show. Nothing was, nothing was being planned last minute. I mean, obviously, the whole Riddle and Otis thing just randomly became a match for
yeah,
the qualifying.
yeah,
But that's just an impromptu thing that WWE does all the time. I feel like during Raw or SmackDown, something always has to be impromptu during these shows. But heck, it still had a structure because we were finding out who was going to be in the chamber. So if Raw or SmackDown has something like structural behind it, it could be a good show. But it's just when you throw shit together or crumple like 5 scripts before you actually give Vince the real one, that's when shit goes hitting the fan.
yeah. Pretty much.
So 12 people is way too much to be getting quotes like this from. But obviously, these 12 people range from people that we do not see from a weekly basis to veterans in the company. Now, obviously, the names were not actually disclosed here because if they were, jobs can be compromised and roles within the shows can be compromised. But Randy Orton was not happy during the Rumble. Drew McIntyre, he has some kind of issues with Shane. And I mean, there were many others in that Royal Rumble match that were not liking that Shane McMahon actually tried to advocate himself to be the number one entrant in the entire Rumble. And now was a report that came out, by the way, today.
I
Shane
heard
McMahon
that.
was actually trying to advocate himself to be number one in the Rumble to last all the way to the Final Four.
I heard that, and I would only accepted it if he got eliminated. Like if he was number one and made it all the way to the end, then I would have been mad. But I mean, if he was number one
Well,
and
no,
made it
he,
to
he,
like
he
12,
advocated to be number one to get to the Final Four.
oh, he wanted to be the Iron Man.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
to
no,
get
that's
the Final
terrible.
Four.
Oh no, that's terrible. That's really bad.
That's when Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and heck, and I will say it, Vince McMahon even stepped up to the plate too, saying, "Shane, come on, no, stop it, stop." And I'll actually applaud Vince for that, but it's really
Yeah,
Drew
Vince.
and Randy that kind of had, the whole saying, "Shane, come on, get fucking real." These guys work their asses off every night, and then you want to be in the Final Four from number one? Get real. So, good
Yeah,
job, Randy. Good job, Drew. Vince, I'll let it slide. But
gotta listen to Daddy.
Shane all the way from one to the Final Four, get real.
Gotta listen to Papa.
Speaking of Vince, Vince McMahon and the WWE are leaning towards title for title.
Oh God. God.
That's what the thumbnail is about. It's Brock and Roman.
Oh my God. Roman's gonna have
Now,
all
a
the
couple
belts.
weeks ago, this was not actually planned. We know this. A couple of weeks ago, WWE did not have title versus title in their plans, in their notebooks for WrestleMania. But it looks like it's going to be happening now. Roman Reigns has been on a roll since his return to the company, but back at WWE SummerSlam in the year 2020. He returned as the Tribal Chief and truly reinvented himself The change was several years in the making, and fans clamored for so long when it comes to hold this heel turn and everything like that. The head of the table has certainly been very dominant as the WWE Universal Champion, as he has remained a champion for well over a year now. It is unlikely that he will be losing the championship anytime soon for the looks of it. He has competed against several top WWE superstars throughout this time. Paul Heyman betrayed Brock Lesnar after Royal Rumble pay-per-view event, costing him the WWE Championship against Bobby Lashley, as he realigned himself with Roman Reigns once again. With Brock Lesnar being a part of the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber, fans have been wondering whether WWE will have him become the WWE Champion once again to set up a title versus title match at WrestleMania 38. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Newsletter, several members of the WWE creative team are under the impression that Vince McMahon will approve the title for title match against Roman and Lesnar. Quote, the feeling internally was Vince was leaning towards the direction of title versus title, which would mean the originally planned WWE Championship match, whatever it would have been, is now off. Big E being moved to Friday Night SmackDown permanently to be put back in the New Day as a tag team looks to have ended his push as a singles championship guy. The plan on SmackDown was to put him in with the New Day, and he wasn't brought over specifically to be an opponent for Reigns. Although obviously, he could be a Reigns caliber type opponent consistently because he's been in the main event before over the past few years, and with the depth, we kind of read part of the quote in a couple of reports ago. So he could be a singles main event caliber type guy. We will have to wait and see if the company will end up doing the title versus title match at WrestleMania, as fans may or may not be necessarily be into that type of an idea. Well, I know you're probably not with the way that you kind of reacted there, but it seems like they're really kind of pushing for it. Roman, Brock, WrestleMania 38, title versus title. Yeah.
Yay. I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Now,
we'll just book it for Roman.
Now, here's the thing. You know I've been wanting title versus title, but there are so many other ways that we could have done this if we were doing this, okay?
Yeah.
Like I said a few weeks ago, this was not the case. We were not going to get a title versus title match, but now it looks like we are. We all know the Elimination Chamber competitors being Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Riddle, and Austin Theory. Pretty much any of these guys, sorry, but except for the likes of Austin Theory, could be walking out of the chamber as WWE champion. But, and you know my pick. I would want it to be AJ Styles, but that's most likely not going to happen. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman have been mentioning this title versus title throughout, for months. They've been mentioning it on numerous occasions, even before the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. When Brock Lesnar was WWE champion after the Day 1 pay-per-view, Brock Lesnar went to Friday Night SmackDown saying, hey, Roman, title for title, let's do it. And Roman's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, but on my time. And then Brock Lesnar lost the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view to Bobby Lashley. He entered the Rumble at number 30, wins it, and gets a shot at WrestleMania. So, all right, he's just going to pick Roman Reigns. And he did pick Roman. He picked Roman on Friday Night SmackDown, or whenever he picked him. Yeah, he picked him on Friday Night SmackDown, I believe. So he loses the championship to Bobby, gets the WrestleMania shot anyway by winning the Rumble, and is now inserted into the Elimination Chamber. Because he's like, hey, Paul, not Paul, hey, Adam, I want to be in that chamber because of the way I lost at the Rumble pay-per-view. And he gets inserted. So if he wins the championship inside the Elimination Chamber, then what was the fucking point of him winning the Rumble?
There was no point. Possibly.
Possibly. You say possibly. What's this all possibly though?
Depending on how they go through these next few months, because stuff changes so fast. This car can turn whenever it wants to. This car will turn when there's no turns. It'll be a straight road, and this car will still turn. So I mean, we just I can't handle Roman Reigns being champion twice with both belts. I don't even want Brock to have it at that point, but I'll take Brock over Roman at this point. Or just, I've heard a lot of people say they wanted to add Seth Rollins into the match, which I think you only would do. That would be a really good callback to his cash in. What was that, 31?
Yeah, 31.
But that would be a good callback to that. But I feel like Rollins will have to win again. Because if Rollins is just there to lose, then what's the point, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't even, I feel like that's a really good, that is a better WrestleMania main event because I don't think the three of them have ever been in like a full match, I think that's a better way to go at it because Rollins never really did lose. Well, he didn't really, he won, but he lost, you know? He won
by disqualification, which he didn't get the championship.
Yes, I mean, Roman didn't pin him or make him submit, technically, so he really should be still next up for that. Now, if Roman comes out of both of those two wins, then I'm gonna just have to sit there and cry. But I mean, I think that'll be a better main event, the three of them, rather than just Roman and Brock again. And then however that goes, it goes.
Now, on the first day of March in 2021, Bobby Lashley won the WWE Championship. Big E won it on September 13th, 2021. Brock Lesnar won it January 1st, 2022. Then all of a sudden, Bobby Lashley is the WWE Champion at the end of the month. So he went from Big E to Brock Lesnar to Bobby Lashley to potentially Brock Lesnar again to Roman Reigns. I'm going to say to Roman Reigns because most likely, if you're going to have that match, Roman could possibly be holding two championships.
Yeah.
If this is the plan to get a title for title and to take the title off of Lesnar at the beginning of the Rumble, just to have him lose it, just to have Bobby lose it 3 weeks later inside the Elimination Chamber, it makes no sense. And you know, okay, and this is, and I know, well, I'm going to have you kind of elaborate on this. What month is it this year?
What month is it right now?
Yes.
February.
What's February known as? Like, what history month?
Black History Month.
Yes. Big E. Bobby Lashley. If Bobby Lashley loses the WWE champion, well, he wins the WWE Championship in Black History Month, loses it 3 weeks later in the same month. I just know people. I just know people laugh. People are not going to be happy.
You know why?
In the community.
You know why?
And I'm not even trying to make it into a race thing. I'm not. But with everything going on with the big four people, like you said, and like the report and the last thing said, I understand it could happen. I'll let you speak.
I've always thought it's a race thing. I don't think WWE is like a racist company, but I do think that there are some aspects of their booking that don't go in the way of black superstars unless they are highly favored in the company. Sasha Banks is black, but she is known to have an amazing relationship with Vince McMahon. So her lack of winning at WrestleMania aside is still
Says a
one of
lot
the
about the 0-6, but okay,
yeah.
I see where your point is.
She's still one of the biggest superstars in the company, male or female. So I mean, you have that. I feel like I'm trying to think. The last world champion that was black and that actually got the respect I think they deserve. I don't think Lashley got it because Lashley was losing on Raw to Kofi Kingston by roll ups. Now I know people would throw Lashley in there just because he had the belt for a while, but the last person I can think of is the Mark Henry because he had the great Hall of Pain thing and he had great programs with Randy
The
Orton
Hall
and
of Fame was great. I
yeah,
love that.
I'm so happy. I still feel like they should have gave him the championship when he did the fake retirement against Cena. I think he should have won that match against Cena because even
He
if
should
that
have.
match was just like quick, even if Cena got the title back in like 2 months, I think Mark Henry deserved it. But it's the way things go. Naomi, no one has explained. So all right, I don't think this is actually the reason. I would be floored if Sonya said this, but I keep hearing that since Sonya has not told anyone why she doesn't like Naomi, it's because Naomi is black. And I was like, that is the most hilarious but wrong thing I've heard in my life. But I mean, they haven't explained it. So we don't know why. I don't think that's the reason why. Like, I think that's just idiotic. But
That would
anyway.
be nuts, dude. And I mean, yes, Mustafa Ali was going to be in some kind of like racial type storyline as well, but
Yeah.
Ali put a stop to that real quick, and now he's not even speaking with Vince and WWE, and he kind of he not only blocked him on Twitter, but there's just nothing, no talks whatsoever. So
You got to think about it. All the black world champions, except if only I'll give NXT the benefit of the doubt because they had freaking Swerve won the championship and he had it until his whole thing with Melo started, and Melo is still North American champion. So shout out to him. Um, I just I can't think of many black male superstars that have had actual respectable runs. You could say Booker T, but Booker T had the whole thing with Triple H, which he should have won. And I think they only gave Booker T that championship because he was doing the whole King thing. He was doing the whole goofy shit with the King. So I mean, like, it's like they only give them the championship when they have something funny to do. Kofi Kingston got absolutely destroyed on SmackDown to who? Brock Lesnar. It's so much of a circle here. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't think WWE is
and people are
plotting
wondering
on
if Xavier Woods going to be next.
you know, he might be. And just like I don't think WWE is just plotting on black people being held down, but I will hope to God not. But I do think that there's some aspects of their booking that don't lead in that way for some reason. I don't know why, but it's just
Yeah, but
it's
people are also saying the same thing about AEW.
AEW. I can't speak on because I honestly have no idea what goes on out there. I don't watch it enough to even make a like
People are
I don't know.
floored that we have not had a black AEW or TNT champion yet. And I'm like,
I mean,
guys,
it's a
first of all, give
I
it
don't know.
time.
They've only been a thing for like
WWE
3
is a
years.
50 plus year company. AEW
Yeah.
is 3 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched AEW enough to even give a good observation on that, honestly. You can speak on it because you've been watching, but I have no.
The whole diversity thing when it came to the whole Big Swole situation and everything, that's where everything kind of all started. And then all of a sudden, everybody and their mother was talking, oh, yeah, there hasn't been a black AEW world champion yet. Guys, stop. There's going to be. If anything, Keithley is going to be that first champion.
I hope so.
Because first of all, Keithley is going to be showing up in AEW. Is it going to be this Wednesday? Who knows? I personally believe it's going to be Jeff Hardy, but we talked about that earlier on in the episode, so if you guys have missed that, you guys can go talk about it. But there's going to be representation within the wrestling community when it comes to AEW, so people need to stop that. But when it comes to WWE, I do see everybody's points on the whole TikToks that I've been seeing from a ton of the wrestling community here on TikTok, and I agree to some extent, but and I don't want to say I don't understand, because I do understand. It's just that I don't know what I can say not being a part. I am a part of this community, and I am a part of just the entire big scheme of things. I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to mean. So I'm just gonna leave it at this. The black representation in WWE has been sorely misunderutilized.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to say that I see your points, but I'll just leave it at that, because I don't even know what to say, considering
It's like this.
I don't know. I can't say some things that I know I'm going to be either criticized for it or be called a racist, and I'm not, and I can't. I can't do that. I can't deal with that shit. I can't.
Look. Breaking news. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know if y'all know. I don't know if you know, Phil. I'm black. Okay, I'm black. If you didn't know.
Yes.
You not understanding these things is perfectly okay. I think that you have the right mind to not say something that is nonsensical.
I'm just not a part of the. I'm not a part of the black community, and I don't want that to seem like a bad thing.
That's cool. You're doing the right thing, because some people take that and then they say something nonsensical, which they may not mean, or they may mean it, and they say something stupid, and then now look at you. But now you become a spectacle. But
yeah.
I think you not understanding is okay. The only thing that's just the way these things work. Black males and black people that aren't in the wrestling company, we understand, because we share that one constant. We're not wrestlers, but we share that one thing. And if we see something like that, it's okay for people to not understand, but to open up the dialogue for learning and lessening of ignorance, and the whole don't make it a race thing is never so much of not make it a race thing. It's more of just acknowledging that these things can happen, do happen, not only in professional wrestling, but in the workplace as a whole.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes.
So, it's not something to where it's just like, you don't want to make it a race thing, because at the end of the day, that is what it is, because we are put in different categories because of that, unfortunately. So you have to acknowledge, you can't just acknowledge half of it, you have to acknowledge the whole thing. So at this point, I don't think, like I'm gonna say it one more time, I don't think WWE is trying to push black superstars down. I just think that there are lots of clues that allude to the fact that they don't see as much value in the black superstar than any other race. Is that intentional or intentional? I don't know, and I hope it's not intentional. I hope and pray that it's not. But at this point, we just have to hope for something better. We have to hope for something that is more accommodating to all races, and just even with on AEW side, even though I know like very small parts of the whole Big Swole situation, even with that, there's always room for improvement, and there's always room for learning with stuff like that. So I think before people jump into just not wanting to offend or not wanting to acknowledge certain things that happen, just
who's the TBS champion right now? Just to clarify,
Sammy, isn't it? Oh no,
the TBS.
Jade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So saying that there's never been a black champion in AEW is blasphemy.
But they do give Jade Cargill a lot of shit, and you know that.
They do.
They give her a lot of shit.
AEW
And she
fans
said
do
that
give
on
her a
Twitter.
lot of shit. Yeah.
They said that on Twitter. Jade said that on Twitter that she thinks that black female superstars, and that's I'm not a female, so partially I can't even speak on that because
Yeah.
I feel like black females may get something worse than what
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Being a female in the professional wrestling company, I obviously I'm not, but seeing that, it looks bad in the first place. So having the black thing along with it, and the fact that Jade Cargill has to do all of her self-talk herself because she doesn't really have a lot of support group, because every which way in turn, they're calling her this and calling her that and saying she can't do this and can't do that. The one that y'all have so much faith in, Tony Khan, he obviously sees something in her, whether that be money or image or whatever the hell it is, but he obviously sees something in her. And all day I hear Tony Khan's a genius. Then trust your genius. Then come on, like, you got to figure. You got to take both. You know what I'm saying? I think people like to take half that lead that keeps their narrative instead of taking the whole story, the whole situation. You can't. It's just certain things that have to be done the right way. Like when Brandy went up there and called herself a black bitch, I'm like, I think Brandy is absolutely terrible. I don't want her near a mic, but it's like her.
Oh no, she does not need to be on the mic, let alone on our television screen. She's terrible. And that's not even me being a white person saying about a black person. She's just terrible.
She's just
terrible.
Annoying, period. She's just annoying. And I think she's not helping the case at all, because she's going out there and just perpetuating stereotypes that aren't true about our race, but she's just going out there and being stupid. And
Dan Lambert saved that segment last week.
Yeah, and I never thought I would say that because I do not like that guy. But I was more on his side than Brandy, because Brandy was just saying bull for the whole.
Oh, you should have seen me on my live for Wednesday.
I was
all in on Dan. I was all in.
You know, it's really hard to dictate, but
and I want you to feel comfortable talking about this, because it should be something it should be something to be talked about. And and like I was saying earlier, I was trying to say something that I didn't want to get ostracized for or just being shot down by, but at the end of the day, I'm not a part of this community, so I don't technically understand the entire full length of the situation, but I do understand to a point where you guys obviously see the issue. I see the issue. It's just that we kind of had to understand on the issues of this being a thing in two separate kind of avenues, but we all got to come together to see that it is a problem.
That's all.
Now, just speaking on the whole diversity kind of thing in AEW alone, 2 of the AEW Women's World Champions are of other races, and technically 3 is something to be talked about. Riho, Nyla Rose, and Hikaru Shida.
Yeah.
The only American AEW Women's World Champion is the current one as state right now, and that's Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Nyla Rose, I put in there because she's an open transgender.
And that's a whole nother entity of shit.
And that's a whole other entity that we can either discuss or what have you. But at the end of the day, people say that like, oh yeah, there's no diversity in AEW, or there's no like black representation in this company. You can't really say that, because 3 of the first world champions for the women's division held this championship, and they weren't of American descent. So we need to watch what we're saying when it comes to this stuff, but also we do need to come together when it comes to situations like within the WWE and in other avenues, to where We can all come to an agreement, but we all have to speak about it in a manner that we're all just not yelling at each other. Because that's when things turn to shit. That's when shit hits the fan, and that's when everybody just gets mad at each other for all the wrong reasons. When we all want the same thing. We all want this company to succeed, but we all got to come together in order to, have the problems be addressed.
The art of conversation is lost in translation now. I'm rhyming accidentally because
That's awesome, though.
because you have no matter what the discussion is, I feel people are very quick to just be offended and be angry instead of just listening to what the other person is saying and not taking it as an immediate attack on you, because everything is not an attack on you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that just need to be discussed, and there's so much that can be learned in just having a talk with somebody, an honest adult discussion, instead of turning into a debate. You can even have a healthy debate that doesn't have to turn into an argument and turn into personal attacks and turn into all this shit. That is what needs to be had in this community. I've seen too many people get mad over the slightest thing. And it's like, if you just sat down and talked instead of just hearing the first thing that you didn't like and then going on a rant, you would actually understand that maybe you and them have actual similar thoughts. That's why whenever it is, whatever discussion, it could be what we're talking about right now or anything, I try my best not to immediately pop off over like what my first thought is, because that may be confrontational. And now, like, I never want to find myself calling someone like a name or something on TikTok or anything, because it's not that deep to be mad about. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, even if someone says something that I deem as like racist or against my race, my thought process is to, when someone says something or does something that I feel that isn't the right way, I would rather have a discussion with you instead of immediately berate you and immediately call you names and immediately make rant videos about you. And because that doesn't help, that doesn't make me learn, it doesn't help you learn. All that does is bring drama, bring anger, bring all this unnecessary stuff that doesn't need to be had. You know what I'm saying? I think that's that's like the main issue of the wrestling community now. It's just that we don't talk to one another because everyone just wants to get mad and cry over everything. Shut up and just listen for a minute and have a discussion with people, because we're all not that different. We all like watching this. We're all not that different at all. So if people just sat down and actually took a minute to think before they speak, think before they post, think before they do anything, and actually try to ask people, why did you say this? Here's how you could have said it better, instead of immediately just, you're stupid. It's not, it shouldn't be like that. It's like that now. I hope it's not like that forever. But I think me as a person, I'm gonna do my due diligence just to make it that much better, in the hope that other people see what I'm doing and just try to push that forward more. Because I'm not gonna act like I don't get angry, but like if someone says something stupid, I'm not gonna act like I don't get angry and want to. Then that I'll just be lying to you.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between having a thought and then acting upon that thought. There's a difference between having something you want to say to somebody and then saying it in a disrespectful manner, in which you're disrespecting them as a person or as a creator or as a fan. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. There's a way you talk to people. There's a certain respect that I hold with everybody, and I think people should do that as well. Male, female, whoever you identify, you feel me? So I just that's what I am with everything. With this race situation in the wrestling community or with anything else. I try to do my best with that. And I think if all of us as a community can learn to do that much better, then we won't be as toxic as unfortunately we are right now. It can be fixed, but it has to take everyone. You know what I'm saying? Do I
It
think
takes
everyone's
all of
gonna
us.
Yeah,
Sorry, NFL, but it does take all of us.
you know
It
what I'm saying?
does.
I hate when they say that, but it's true.
The NFL kind of pushed that.
Yeah, but
It pushed that
what
agenda
is
really
true?
big, but at the end of the day, it does. It does. So,
It really is true, you
and
know.
now, see, guys, Wap and I are of two totally different races. But at the end of the day, we sat here, we talked about it, and we understand each other. And
Yeah,
it's not like we had an issue to begin with, but
yeah.
we sat down, we talked about this, and we know where we stand. We agree on all accounts that champions of this caliber and of this race should be treated better. I just looked at the WWE Championship Reigns of 2021. Well, of the WWE Championship being on Monday Night Raw. And here are the champions that were the champions at that time. Starting in at March of 2020, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, then Drew McIntyre again, then Miz, then Bobby Lashley, Big E, Brock Lesnar, and now Bobby Lashley. Looking at the championship reigns of everybody there, Drew McIntyre 203, Randy Orton 22, but that was kind of a weird situation for Randy. Drew McIntyre back at 97. Miz had an 8-day reign, but Miz is Miz, and he lost that in that terrible, not terrible way. Bobby Lashley, Big E, and then Brock Lesnar, and then Bobby Lashley again. Bobby Lashley had a 196-day reign as champion, which is honestly not bad for everything.
Pretty damn good.
Big E had a 110-day reign, which is pretty respectable. Honestly,
they treated it like complete bullshit.
They treated it like crap, but it's a respectable reign regardless of the days.
Yeah.
And booking wise, Brock Lesnar only had the WWE Championship for 27 days before losing it to Bobby, but now Bobby Lashley's held it for 9 days going, and he might lose it in 3 weeks.
You know damn well
which is a problem. Which is a problem.
Yeah.
And I will say that, but since the WWE title has been on Monday Night Raw, there's really technically only been two black WWE champions. And the WWE Championship started on Monday Night Raw back in March of 2020. And that was when somebody actually won it from the Monday Night Raw roster. So from March of 2020 to now, there's really technically only been 2 WWE champions that were of black descent. And that is a problem. I'm not even going to say could be a problem. That is a problem to a ton of people.
And none of them have been treated like Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Which is, I do want to specify that Roman Reigns is, I believe technically he does have like,
The Rock has some black in him, and he's Roman's cousin, so technically he does to some extent. He is Samoan,
but
which is
saying, like,
some kind of certain black. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really technically know about it, and I don't want to, I don't want to say anything.
I'm not 100% sure either, so I'm not.
Yeah,
but it's just like that. It's just not even taking the account of Roman's race into that. Just the fact that they haven't been treated like Roman Reigns, just off of the fact that he's a Universal Champion, and they treated those 2 championship runs like they were trash. Because Bobby looked good as a champion, but was losing on Raw damn near every week. He won the championship on a Money in the Bank cash in, and then they treated him like crap and had him in pointless matches every week in which he might win or lose. I don't know how in the world you 50-50 book a damn WWE champion, but they found a way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like those 2 black champions have been treated like trash. The only one that is getting absolutely like good work right now is freaking Melo. And that's why I was so over the moon when Melo was in the tournament. I don't know what I saw in him and Odyssey Jones. I was just happy that they were there. And they went to the finals, and now Melo is killing it on NXT. You know what I'm saying? I want him to get caught up so bad, but I don't want him to fall into the same trap in which Ian Bobby did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think he's doing great with the North American Championship. I'm telling you, I think he's just
he is doing
away
great things
from
with that
being
championship, I will say.
You know, he puts on amazing match. I think he's just a promo away because his promos are they sound forced a little bit sometimes. He's a promo away from being a freaking megastar. You know, certain superstars scream megastar, and I think Melo screams it. You know what I'm saying? He's that close, and he has Trick behind him, and Trick, but
Trick's
it
Trick,
just
yeah.
it works. It works. Trick's freaking hilarious, and it just works. So I just want better representation, man. I think Melo can be that if done properly. If Triple H was still here, I would have no freaking doubt. I know Triple H. He saw something in Swerve, so I know he sees something in Melo, even though Melo is technically a Vince guy. But well, I don't know. I don't know when Melo came in when it was still yellow and black, wasn't it?
Melo came in. There was during the time. It was during the tail end of Black and Gold.
Yeah.
So he was technically still being a part of the whole 2.0 kind of shit when they were doing the whole war game shit, but
yeah.
He came in during the tail end of Black and Gold.
Okay. I mean, point is he's doing freaking amazing. So I just wish that he continues to do that well whenever he drops the North American title, and if they call him up to the main roster, that he doesn't just become an afterthought. You know what I'm saying?
Now, looking back even further when it comes to the WWE Championship, when it was on Friday Night SmackDown, I want to read you guys some of the names that were here. And I mean, we're done with pretty much all the stories and everything. We're kind of just talking now. But at the end of the day, the WWE Championship and Universal Championship could be meeting head to head at WrestleMania. We'll see what happens. That's all we can really say on that. But when it comes to Friday Night SmackDown and when WWE had that championship over there, the champions were as follows. Starting in September of 2016, so we're going all the way back then. AJ Styles, John Cena, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, and Brock Lesnar. Now there's a problem right there. Counting Jinder Mahal, that's 2 again. And that's from 2016 to 2019. But if we're not counting Jinder, and we're only counting like African American WWE superstars, that's 1. And that's Kofi, who had it for 190 days and lost it to Brock Lesnar in that major instance.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Not to mention Bianca Belair, who's a freaking
the women's division is even worse, probably.
She had a freaking rocket strap to her, and then here comes Becky Lynch, beat her
26 seconds.
Quickly. I don't get it. Ember Moon, I feel like Ember Moon hasn't gotten anything that she's deserved, I should say, ever, damn near. Naomi had a very forgettable championship run. I feel like she was just tied into too many things that they weren't doing much with her. She's had the belt. I think she deserves another championship run very, very, very soon. I hope she beats Charlotte on SmackDown. She probably won't, but I hope. It's a lot, you know. You can go as far as you want. It's so much stuff that I feel doesn't really go in the right way as far as that stuff goes. But I mean,
oh yeah, and this dates back way before 2016. I do want to let you guys know that. But I was just doing this stuff from prior to now. The fact that we only technically had 1 African American WWE champion from 2016 to 2019, and then 2 from 2020 to 2022 now. That's insane. And
the fact that Keithley never got anything during any of that time is insane to me.
WWE is going to rue the day that they release Keithley. When Keithley's in AEW,
oh my gosh,
they're going to absolutely hate themselves when they see Keithley being at the top of that division.
they better hope it's Jeff on Wednesday, because if Keithley walks out, stuff is going to change.
Oh yeah. Eric, to answer your question, yes, that would be an illegal signing. Yes. Because Paige right now is still currently contracted with the WWE. And Paige will wrestle again very soon, and I will hold my hat on that. She will. She will return to WWE very soon and ring.
Please.
But they're going to make her wrestle so that she doesn't go to AEW. That's the reason.
I don't like that.
Because Paige can wrestle. She's clear. But WWE is going to make her wrestle so that she does not go to AEW or any other wrestling promotion for that matter. Because WWE wants to keep as many people here as possible, pretty much under hostage, so that AEW doesn't get them.
But,
and they'll do whatever it takes.
Pretty much. Real quick, I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna head out of here too. That was pretty much the last story, and we were just talking for that. But
yeah.
To answer your question, Eric, that would be an illegal signing, and Tony Khan would be in a lot of trouble if that did happen. But it's the Jacksonville Jaguars Warriors versus WWE.
Yeah.
So that's a whole other different issue too. But guys, that's it. That's it. That's all we're talking about. If you guys screen recorded some of the conversation that we had about that whole, diversity situation, that's fine. That's fine. But if you want to at least do something with this, spread this around to your friends, spread this around to your family. This is a great conversation that we had at the final endings of this podcast. And while we really had no beef with each other, we now come to an understanding about things that need to change here in the world of professional wrestling. And we gave you some great stories heading into the next week of professional wrestling. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell for all notifications, and make sure you go see all the other videos / live streams that we did here on the channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. And Loft, do you have anything else to say before we get the hell out of here?
Make sure y'all buy some merch.
That's right. That's right. We got the hoodie and the t-shirts ready for you guys.
Yeah, man. I'm almost done my stuff, so when that's done, I will let everyone know. I'm really excited, so I'm gonna explain that when the time comes. New music coming on the 14th of February. Yeah.
If you ever need me to put your stuff on bonfire.com, I can totally do that, or I can obviously give you the information about it as well. I can. Huh. I can get your designs on Bonfire if need be.
Oh, I thought you talking about. Oh, okay, yeah. No, I'm gonna send you that stuff beforehand. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you that stuff privately before anything.
What were you thinking about? I was kind of curious. What were you thinking about?
I think you're talking about the music. I was like, you're gonna put the music on Bonfire? How the hell are you gonna do that?
Oh no! I mean, if you make a CD, maybe we can try to do something with that.
No, I have no idea how to make a CD. I have no idea how to make a CD.
If you make a legit record.
When I figure out how to do that, I will. That's a great idea. I want to learn how to do that.
Make a legit record and put it out there.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that actually uses CDs anymore. So I mean,
how'd you guys put the stuff on Apple Music or whatever you did?
We had to get a independent distributor as far as you can pay for subscriptions for distributors, and then they'll just put all them to like they'll put the music out to every Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all that stuff.
Oh, there's a thing like that for podcasts. It's called Anchor or whatever. And once you actually make an episode or whatever, it just goes to all the streaming platforms. I wanted to do that for Outside the Brand, but I don't know if I can actually post 132 episodes onto Anchor and be put on all the social media platforms. So I have no idea what I would do with that. But
that'd be something.
But yeah, I mean, I want to get OTB to other platforms like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or something like that. But we've already done 132 episodes here, including this one. This one is 132. I don't know how we can honestly make that possible.
Wait till they reach out to us. That's gonna come sooner or later. They're gonna reach out to us.
But yeah, we will definitely be there at some point, and that's just going to be absolutely insane. I would love that. But thank you guys so much. Merch, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And let's see if we can make it 3 weeks in a row, Laf. We've had 2 pretty decent episodes of Monday Night Raw. Let's see if we can make it a 3rd.
Here's hoping.
I probably jinxed it, but we'll see. But thank you guys so much. We're on the road to the Elimination Chamber. We're on the road to WrestleMania. It's going to be a very, very busy few weeks here on OTB, but like I said in the beginning, we're here for it. We love doing it, so we'll see what happens on the road to WrestleMania. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you guys very soon. Monday Night Raw. Have a good night. Peace.
Y'all be safe.
We the ones. Be safe.